Hey Scorpio, welcome to your weekly forecast from March 28th through April 3rd. We do have a new moon April 1st in Aries. It is the astrological new year. It is the new moon of the new year. So we're going to see how this fresh start, clean slate energy is going to be coming in here for our Scorpio friends. Keep in mind this is a general reading. Not every single message is going to resonate. Take what does, leave what doesn't. First card coming up here, my dears and my darlings, is the Hierophant. I love these cards. They're so beautiful. The Hierophant is a major arcana card, and a lot of you have heard me say the major arcana cards are going to come up anytime that we're coming into a significant defining moment in our life. This is going to be a significant chapter. So even though I'm reading with the intention for a 7-day period of time, this is energy that's going to be around for a while. Things that are happening in the next 7 days for Scorpio is going to be energy that's going to be around for a while. Now, the Hierophant is a card about beliefs, commitments, it's oftentimes a card a lot of people associate with marriage, and that could be the case for some of you. Some of you may be manifesting marriage at this time, or strengthening or recommitting to an existing marriage or relationship where you're overcoming challenges or problems and you're really committing to that relationship. That can be the case for some of you. However, welcome to the channel if you're new here. The weekly forecasts, I don't focus on love. I focus on you and your spiritual journey and your growth. So we look at the cards outside of love, outside of marriage in the weekly forecasts. The Hierophant is associated with the astrological sign of Taurus. If you have a Taurus placement, there can be really big changes and shifts happening for you in those areas of your life or in those houses. Many of the Scorpios that watch this channel do have a Taurus placement. I've realized that, and I've seen that from the comments. Myself included. I'm a Taurus moon. So if you do have a Taurus placement, there can be big changes or big shifts happening for you in those areas of your life. Big moments of growth or decisions that you're having to make in those areas of your life. Now, the Hierophant, as I said, it's about beliefs, structures, commitments, traditions. And so there might be some big decisions that you're having to make in the near future here or in the coming week. And so for me, the Hierophant comes up to say, as long as you're making your decisions based on your beliefs, your ethics, and your morals, it will not steer you wrong. You won't make the wrong choice. Some of you are going to feel very confused. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because I'm hearing left field. Whatever is coming in, for a lot of you, it's going to feel like it's coming out of left field, which is an expression meaning out of nowhere. Like you didn't see it coming. Even if you're very intuitive, you weren't anticipating that you would have to make this kind of decision, or that somebody would approach you with such an offer or a proposal or a, whatever it might be. And you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? As long as you're making your choices based on your ethics and morals, you're going to choose the right thing. Some of you might be in a situation where you might be presented with something that's being shown to you as like really, really good. Like a once in a lifetime opportunity kind of situation. And you're like, I don't know what to do. You have to ask yourself, how does this align with your ethics, your morals, your principles? Are you going to have to do shady stuff? Are you going to have to do things that go against your morals or your principles? If so, it's not going to be the right thing for you. And as long as you're making your daily life choices and decisions based on your beliefs and your morals and your ethics, it's going to align you with the perfect opportunities, opportunities that are going to make you happy, that are going to be fulfilling for you. It's going to align you with the perfect people for you, right? People with whom you have a solid foundation, where you can have friendships and partnerships and relationships that are going to pretty much last forever because you have a solid foundation. You see things the same way. You're going through life with the same beliefs. So it's a very powerful energy. Okay? Make your decisions based on your priorities and your principles, and you won't be led astray. You won't decide incorrectly. You won't kick yourself later. The next card that's coming up here, my dears, is the Four of Pentacles. Now, this can come up in a couple of different ways. The Four of Pentacles, a lot of the times, can come up when we may be feeling the need to protect our space or to protect our assets. I have seen Four of Pentacles come up when there's some kind of financial blessing coming in your way, and you might be tempted to go and be super generous with it. You might want to splurge. You might want to go treat yourself and get yourself something exciting, and you might want to be generous with other people and, give this friend this much money and give that family member that much money, or do like a generous gift. And the Four of Pentacles comes up to say, hold on now, wait a minute, you're gonna need this later, so hold on to it. That doesn't mean that you have to be in fear or that you can't do something nice for your loved ones. You can still be generous, but don't go over the top, right? Like the Oprah meme, you get a car and you get a car and you get a car. Don't be over the top. You can be generous, you can treat somebody to something, you can do a gift, you can give people money, you can treat yourself and get something for yourself, but try to hold on to as much of it as you can, because you're going to need it later. We are going through some interesting economic shifts, and eventually we're going to come into a system that is wonderful and great. But in between now and then, there's going to be some hiccups in the road. So you may want to hold on to those assets so that, when that rainy day comes, you've got something for that rainy day. Four of Pentacles also comes up. Sometimes I see when you need to protect your physical space, or like take back control or take back power over your body. So in other words, I see Four of Pentacles come up a lot when people are making a deliberate decision to be abstinent or celibate from physical intimacy. I know sometimes people get into ruts and they don't mean to not be physically intimate. It just kind of happens. They get in like a funk. But Four of Pentacles, I see it come up like you're making the decision that you're not wanting to do that for a while. You may be doing some clearing. You may be doing some healing. This also came up for Leo. Some of you maybe have a Leo placement or might be dealing with a Leo. And so some of you might be setting boundaries with a Leo. For them, they were releasing physical trauma, a lot of them. And Scorpio, you may be releasing physical trauma too, but in a different way. Okay? I'm going to say something right now that's like really deep here. And I have to be careful how I say it because I don't want the video to not be shown or go into the recommended. Scorpio is really associated. Again, it's so silly. There's certain words that I can't say because if I say them, then the video won't get circulated, right? It rhymes with lectual, right? Scorpio, astrological side of Scorpio is really associated with that lectual energy, and that there's healing through that lectual energy or that connection. I feel that there are a lot of Scorpios who are healers and light workers who unfortunately had inappropriate things occur to them at a young age in that aspect, in an inappropriate way. because these darker energies or heavier energies did not want these little baby Scorpios to grow up into their power and to be the healers they came here to be. So it was almost like a spiritual assassination attempt, right? I'm getting really deep here. Some of you are like, Amethyst, you're losing me. And some of you are like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense now, okay? So something happened in the childhood that was meant to just kind of put you out of commission right then and there, to just stop you in your tracks and to keep you from growing into the powerful being you came here to be. Now, we can take those experiences and we can transmute them, and we can come out bigger and better and stronger and more powerful than ever before for having had that experience that was meant to put us out, take us out, right? Only we became stronger. So some of you Scorpios may be taking back your physical space or coming into this abstinence or celibacy as you're processing those inappropriate things that occurred in your childhood. Okay? With Leo, it came up more in terms of like physical beating. And maybe some of you have that aspect as well. But there's this sense in like healing the physical body. But for Scorpio, I feel this is like in your root chakra. This is like root chakra stuff. Now, some of you Scorpios are also distancing yourself physically from crowds or spaces, or limiting your physical social interactions with other people because you're working on your physical strength. I feel that as well. You may be trying to take back your physical strength. It's been a tough couple of years for all of us. And so for some of you, you may feel like your body has weakened, or you haven't been caring for your body the way you would want to. And so you may be taking out time and kind of distancing yourself and having physical boundaries and like getting your body back into the groove of things, back into the flow of things, back into healthier habits. The next card that's coming up for Scorpio is the Five of Swords. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yowza. Okay, I got ahead of the energy here. Ooh, I got ahead of the cards with the energy. We talked about taking back our power, and we talked about having physical boundaries. So some of you Scorpios may try to implement this as politely and as kindly as possible. However, the Five of Swords can be the burning of bridges. And for some of you, some people are going to force you or push your hand to burn a bridge. You're trying to just kind of distance yourself. You're trying not to be dramatic. You're trying to like know your power and know your own strength and not whip out that little Scorpio stinger. But some of you have someone or some people that are just pushing and forcing you to go to that level of like, okay, scorched earth, we are done. We are done forever in all directions of time. Some of you may even be doing cord cutting or releases around these people. Some of you may be straight out banishing certain people. Okay? Like banishing their energy in all directions of time. But this would be very toxic people. So if this is the case and if this applies to you, you would already have a sense of who this is going to be, right? It would be like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Like you would already know who it's going to be. Like, oh gosh, like here we go. It was bound to happen sooner or later. Five of Swords also, you got to be kind of cautious, because for me in my readings, Five of Swords can come up a lot of the times when someone is deliberately triggering you. And I know there's somebody like that in my life. Okay? And I want you guys, especially those of you who have a Taurus placement, I want you to watch the Taurus forecast for last week, not this week. Because for some of you, It'll make sense when you watch the Taurus forecast for last week. For some of you, this person has been placed on your path by your guides. For some of you, from your ancestors. Okay, the person I'm dealing with, I know my grandpa had a lot to do with us crossing paths, because there's so much that I've been able to heal and release from the way this person deliberately triggers me. And there's all kinds of layers here, right? But this person's a bit of a narcissist, and for some of you, you may be dealing with somebody with that kind of energy. It could be somebody that maybe like you were kind of sort of romantically involved with, and then you kind of lost your interest, or you weren't feeling them in that way, but they just still keep coming back. For some of you, maybe it's a family situation, but this could be somebody that you've kind of tried to shake off before, but you just can't really seem to shake them. And this is someone who cannot resist the urge to just kind of poke you, right? Like they can see, they know what they can say that's going to hurt your feelings or upset you. They want you to jump through hoops for them. One thing about Scorpio is not going to Scorpio has a strong personality, right? Scorpios usually aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to change everything there is about me just so that you'll love me. Scorpios don't tend to fall into that. Some might if they're really hurt, but for the most part, Scorpio can't half-ass things. Scorpio can't fake it. Scorpio can't pretend. It's very hard for Scorpio to assume a false identity for somebody to love them or accept them. And this person may see this about you, and it drives them nuts because they want to be the exception. They want to tear you down so much that you will just cater to them and jump through hoops for them, and that's like giving them a source of power. So they may say things or do things to shake your confidence or make you feel bad about yourself. If you're in a situation where you can't get away from the person just yet, you can't move out, you can't change your number, you can't avoid them, you're going to still be around them from time to time. If that's the situation, try to take a step aside and write out what happened. Who was involved? What did they say? What did they do? How did it make you feel about yourself? When you think far back as you can remember, who is the first person who ever made you feel this way about yourself? Why do you think they did it? Why do you think they did it? What do you think they got out of it? Then you write out a forgiveness and a release for that person and the person that you remember from the past. You write out a forgiveness and release for yourself, anything you're embarrassed about or beating yourself up about. And then you write out how you're choosing to feel about yourself and this situation from now on moving forward. If you can take the time to do that exercise, you're going to deactivate that trigger. That person can look for that trigger and push that button as many times as they want. It's going to have no effect on you because you've deactivated that trigger. So there can be a gift in this triggering, a gift for healing. And that's what I've been doing with the person I've been dealing with. Okay? I can't seem to shake this person. And I know there's going to be some kind of a tower moment, right? But it's the blessing that's come for me is that I've been able to work through a lot of those triggers and deactivate a lot of those triggers and come out more confident versus the person tearing me down. But for some of us, we're going to have to eventually burn this bridge, right? The green is jumping out at me. I feel Archangel Raphael here, healing, right? Healing. And so there's this sense here of changing all these little beautiful hearts around the cross. You're protected, you're loved, right? You're worthy, and you're not going to tolerate or hold space for anybody who's making you feel anything less than loved and worthy and protected. The next card coming up for Scorpio is the High Priestess. And again, this has both Pisces and Taurus energies. So again, if you have Pisces or Taurus placements, big changes and big shifts happening for you in those areas of your life. The High Priestess is also a very high level of intuition, inner knowing. The answers are inside of you, not outside of you. You have an inner knowing, and you're connecting with that inner knowing, and you're strengthening your intuition. High Priestess can also indicate that you're coming into a time where a lot of people are going to be rushing towards you, because you have this beautiful, delicious energy that's very healing. You're healing, you're clearing your chakras, you are connecting with, with higher self, with God, with universe. There's this beautiful energy flowing through you. And so there are going to be people very persistent to be near you. Bringing us back to the Four of Pentacles. You may be really having to set out those boundaries. Again, Spirit always brings up reminders for me from my children's Bible. And you guys hear me talk about it from time to time. And you guys have heard me say this with the High Priestess. It always makes me think of like when Jesus was moving through the crowds, and they would all try to rush him, and they would try to go a different way and get some space from the people and take a little break, but people would always figure out where he was, and they'd go running to him and talk to us and teach us and heal us. And there's the story of the lady who touched the hem of his garment. She's like, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, I will be healed. And she was. And so I'm not saying that we're Jesus, but you're going to have people gravitating towards you because you have this healing energy. You're so connected to source. So boundaries, 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 Scorpio. Boundaries. Not everybody who is persistent to be in our life is ready for us, right? It's like the moth rushing towards that candle flame. It doesn't even know what you are. It's just mesmerized. It's just rushing at you automatically. And so not everybody who wants us gets to have us. If people are being disrespectful or rude, you don't need to hold space for them in your life. And you can heal people without taking them to bed. That's another message with the High Priestess. Again, I would highly suggest you guys, if any of this is resonating for you, even if you don't have a Taurus placement, go and watch the Taurus forecast from last week's weekly forecasts. Some of you have a person coming in that you're healing, you're helping, you're leading, you're guiding, but that doesn't mean that you have to be romantically involved with this person. It doesn't mean that you have to be physically intimate with this person. Okay? Those of you that are dealing with a toxic person, it doesn't mean that you have to make exceptions for them. Oh, but I can see they're wounded. Oh, but I can see they're healed. Oh, but I can see that they're treating me the way that they were treated when they grew up. You can still heal from a distance. You don't have to take that to bed. You don't have to take that into your life. Okay? You can have boundaries. You may want to check out your moon sign and rising sign. Some weeks your moon sign or rising sign might resonate more than your sun sign. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you go to calendly.com/amethystangelite, you can schedule a private reading with me there. Don't forget the daily messages I've been posting. Check those out as well. Love readings for April will be up soon. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Have a wonderful week, my dears. Take care.